It's cold. You're cozy inside your home, sipping some hot cocoa. Suddenly, you hear a crash outside. You look out the window and see an iguana fall from a tree. You might think that it's just a clumsy lizard, but there's a more interesting explanation for why iguanas fall from trees when it's cold, and it all has to do with their scales. When reptiles like iguanas get cold, they become sluggish. That's because their metabolism slows down, and being sluggish makes sense from an energy standpoint. If it takes a lot of energy to move around in cold weather, then it's better to conserve that energy. However, this also means that they aren't very good at climbing. Now, you might be thinking, who cares if they fall? They're probably fine. But falling from a tree can be dangerous, especially if it's a tall tree. And even if they don't get hurt from the fall, they might get eaten by a bird of prey while they're stuck on the ground. So why don't these iguanas just stay in the trees instead of taking the risk? Well, it's actually all about their scales. See, their scales are made of beta-carotene, which is the same thing that human fingernails and hair are made of. Their scales are what help them grip branches as they climb. But when the temperature drops, their claws become brittle. So their grip gets weaker, and when it gets cold enough, their grip might fail, and then they fall. But why does their grip get weaker when it gets colder? Well, you know how sometimes when you're cold, you'll put on a jacket. The reason you do that is to keep your body warm. Your body is mostly water, and water has its best thermal properties somewhere around 4 degrees Celsius. When water gets colder than that, it expands in volume. And since your body is mostly water, that means that when you get cold, your cells get bigger. And when your cells get bigger, the spaces between your fingernails get bigger, too. And this also happens to iguanas. When their bodies get cold, their cells expand, pushing against their nail beds. That expansion makes those nails less flexible and more brittle. And since their grip depends on those sharp, flexible claws, they have to spend more energy to hold on to things. In fact, scientists have tested this hypothesis by keeping iguanas in different temperatures and then seeing how long it took them to fall from a branch. They found that at 10 degrees Celsius, the iguanas could hold on for about 30 minutes before they fell. But at 20 degrees Celsius, they could hold on for over 3 hours. And not only does this explain why iguanas fall from trees when it gets cold, but it also explains why some species of tree frog can grip things better in the cold. Sea frogs have special grooves in their toes that help them grip things, kinda like tire treads. But in cold weather, those grooves can fill with water. And in tree frogs, those water-filled grooves actually make their grip stronger. Scientists have even figured out exactly how much water is the perfect amount to make a frog's grip stronger. In one study, researchers applied different amounts of water to the toes of red tree frogs. They found that when the grooves were filled with about 6 nanoliters of water, the frogs could hang upside down on a leaf for the longest amount of time. Any more or any less water, and their grip would get weaker. And the reason this works for frogs but not iguanas is because of their toe structure. A frog's toes are made of a bunch of little bones, and those bones are surrounded by flexible tissue. That flexibility lets the toes bend and warp without breaking, which means they can handle the extra weight of water without getting brittle. Iguanas, on the other hand, have hard, inflexible toes, so when they're cold, their grip gets weaker, and they fall. So next time you see an iguana fall from a tree in the cold, you'll know that it's not because they're lazy or clumsy. It's because their scales are having a midlife crisis. Thank you for watching this episode. We've made thousands of educational videos over the years, and we've been able to offer them for free because of our patrons. So to all of our patrons, thank you for what you do to make this happen. If you're not a patron but you want to learn more about what that means, you can go to our support page